Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Rangers Rabble. My name's Brian, and alongside me tonight is Scotty and Cammy. How you doing, boys?
All good. All good.
Very good, mate.
Good. And we've got some special guests tonight. We've got Richard, a Brighton fan, and Diego, a Real Madrid fan. How are you guys?
Yeah, all good. We're in the Brighton sunshine, so just left the beach to be with you guys today.
Diego,
Doing fine, Brian. Doing fine, guys.
Good man. Right, so we'll fire on straight into it. So obviously we're playing Brighton on Saturday in the friendly at Ibrox. Richard, how's Brighton setting up this season, and how do you think they'll get on?
There hasn't been too many changes so far in the transfer market for us. We're all obviously Ben White's the big one. Like it looks like that deal's done. So we're waiting to see if we're bringing anyone to replace him. But it's kind of been a summer so far of trying to hold on to our players. There's been a lot of rumours with Basuma going, but at the moment that seems to have gone quiet. So we're just looking to strengthen, but I guess it's difficult. We're waiting for the money to come in for Ben White, and then everyone knows that we've suddenly got 50 million to spend, and we need a striker like everybody else in the league. But I don't think we need too much. It's a couple of positions here and there to strengthen the team because we played very well last season. Like you can see the progression year after year since Potter's been there. So I do think that we'll have a good season. We just need to learn to put the ball in the net. And
Scotty, obviously you've got a bit of inside knowledge of Brighton. How do you think they're going to do?
Well, they need a striker. I think that's first and foremost. The amount of times that Rich and I have had a conversation about Morelos.
Yeah, I think we've been doing deals all the time, haven't we?
Yeah, don't say that out loud. I don't think many people will forgive me if I tried to get rid of Morelos for too much money. Especially Cammy next to me, because he would absolutely lynch me.
We want Tab as well.
Yeah, exactly what everyone. No, Brighton play a really, really great brand of football, particularly since Graham Potter's come in. It's taken them a while to adjust, but literally the striker is the missing piece of the jigsaw, and that's no disrespect to Neil Maupay, but he just doesn't have that, if you like, killer instinct. If they get that sorted with, I don't know who they're linked with or who they're interested in, then I reckon we'll see on Saturday, they could really push for a solid top 10 spot, really quite comfortably. I'm really, really excited. I mean, personally, for me, I've got a massive affinity for Brighton. For people that don't know, I used to live there for 6 years. I was a season ticket holder there for a couple of years. So for me, this is like a personal highlight weekend, particularly in the 150th year of Rangers, and getting to play a couple of my favourite football teams. So I'm really excited about this weekend.
Cool. And how's pre-season been going, Richard? Has it been good results, bad results, or?
To be honest, you're our first game. It's been a bit strange. We haven't had many fixtures lined up, and I know we've got Luton to come. But yeah, they haven't had our Scottish camp. They cancelled that. They're still coming up to play you guys. But so yeah, I'm not too sure what they're doing from that point of view, because maybe it'd be a couple of last-minute games. So we haven't really seen anything of the team. They're back in training, so they're working hard. Obviously, we've got players like Welbeck. He signed again for next year. So if he can stay fit, that will solve half of the problem. But he hasn't stayed fit for a long time. But what we saw of him last season, he would really, really help put the ball in the back of the net for us. But we haven't been linked with too many strikers. We got linked with, I think it's Gonzalez, the Argentinian, but he's gone to Fiorentina. But the latest one is from your neighbours, Eduard. We've been linked with him. So who knows if we can steal him away from them.
Cammy, any opinions on Saturday?
I mean, Brighton's a team. I think the guys have pretty much nailed it. They play a good brand of football. They knock the ball about. They just need that sort of poacher. Edward would actually be an interesting one. I think he would probably do quite. He would do quite well, and I think would be available for a decent fee. Maybe as the window goes on, Brighton might manage to get him once Celtic get knocked out of the Champions League, and they're chasing some money. But Brighton's a team they're cementing their place within the Premiership. I think they're a worthy addition. They're a team that I enjoy watching, but I also get frustrated watching them because they can play 15 superb passes and then the killer pass goes in, and then the tap in goes past the post or whatever. So it must be difficult for a Brighton fan to watch such entertaining football, but not always to get the result. So I think it'll be a good game on Saturday. I think we're probably ahead of Brighton, as said. It's their first pre-season. Their league doesn't start until the middle of August, so we should be slightly ahead of them. But we were also ahead of Arsenal last weekend, and to be fair, for long spells they gave us a bit of a chasing. But it'll be a good test against a good football side.
I think you raised a decent point there, Cammy. Like I was in the reaction pod after the I think I was in the reaction pod after the Arsenal game. I can't remember. There's been so many so recently, and one of the things that frustrated me was the fact that we didn't really see him at the races. And I know there was a bit of hysteria typically on Twitter and things like that about, oh God, look, crap off the race, like XYZ or whatever. And then a bit of perspective kicks in, after a couple of hours going, well, it is our second preseason game. And I think it was more of a glorified run out and a bit of a celebration for the 150. And then pointing towards, unfortunately, Blackpool on Wednesday got cancelled. And I think that would have been the stepping stone to this one. So I'm actually expecting with Brighton and Real Madrid, Rangers to actually go up both of these teams. And I'd be slightly concerned and a little bit disappointed if we don't, or if we have a repeat of the Arsenal game. I think that's probably the best way to put it.
Do you think this is the time of the pre-season where we're going to have to start showing what we're about this pre-season?
Well, yeah, because I think otherwise we're running out of games. I don't think we've got any more pre-season games after these two.
Yeah. I think Blackpool was going to be the ideal one, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting. I mean, we're obviously playing back to back Saturday, Sunday, which is going back to the early 90s when we used to have a tournament and we'd play 2 days back to back. I would expect one starting 11 on Saturday against Brighton, then a separate starting 11 on Sunday against Real Madrid. And I think it'll be interesting to see how we consider Real Madrid. Well, I think Real Madrid will be the tougher of the two matches, no matter who Real Madrid put out. So do we put our strongest considered starting 11 on the Sunday, or do we do a mix of starting 11 and squad players? I think that's the interesting thing for me over the course of the weekend.
Here's a question in from Wilf. How do you guys think we'll approach the weekend game selection-wise? Strong starting lineups for both games?
That's actually a really interesting question. It's probably a question that each person can answer in terms of like Brighton and Real Madrid as well. I think as Cammy says, we'll probably see two 11s over 45 minutes over two games. So I have probably 2 11s starting each game and then switching 11 at half time. Mm-hmm. And I expect them to be probably a blend of first teamers and youth. Because am I right in thinking the likes of Barisic, Helander, Aribo, Kent, they must be back and they must be playing. I'm not too sure. I've not really heard anything in terms of team needs.
No, I think there must be though.
I think that certainly Aribo and Kent are guys that need the minutes. I think Barisic and Helander, I think they've not been back into pre-season for as long, but I think they'll be looking to get minutes over the weekend. Zakala has obviously now been training with us for about 10 days, so I would certainly hope to see him, because Champions League qualifier is just round, never mind the league. Champions League qualifier, we're going to need him with the roof obviously suspended. So I think it's important that Zakala might play 60 minutes on Saturday and then 30 minutes on Sunday. That could be a possibility, or he might play 245s, or I don't know. But I think the stronger of the two starting 11s will be the Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, here's Curry Muncher coming in with a comment. Pretty sure we'll see Sakala against Brighton, and depending on how many minutes he will get, he'll also feature against Real Madrid. So that's a possibility.
Yeah. Diego. Real Madrid are coming over, and you had obviously being Real Madrid, a load of guys playing at the Euros. What kind of team do you think they'll send over? And how is it as a guy in Madrid supporting Real, having no Real players playing for Spain? How did that affect your enjoyment of the tournament?
We enjoyed the tournament, but we were kind of missing some of our players. But let's be fair here. We didn't have many players ready for the Euro Cup for us to be as competitive as we should. For instance, Sergio Ramos was not playing that much during the last season. He had few injuries, so I would say he was not ready. Maybe as a team player, he should be there by that time, but not as he was. We are used to have Sergio. Then otherwise, we could only have Nacho. Then for the rest, we were fine. I mean, we were supporting Spain. We want to have more players in the national selection, but if we are not there in terms of level, that's fine for us. And then looking to the game against Rangers, I think this game is a bit more important for the Rangers, than for us, as we are. Well, this is for us actually the first game of the pre-season. Most of our most famous players are still on holidays after the Euro Cup. Few of them are now going to the Olympics. But even though I'm expecting to have a decent lineup, and our players would be really competitive as they are now fighting to keep their room in the team for the next season. And still we'll have Marcelo, Nacho, Carvajal, Odegaard, who is coming back from loan. So I'm expecting to have a nice game against you guys.
So it's fair to say that they'll bring a few sort of heavy hitters, but mostly sort of youth and young guys.
I think it will be a combination of both young guys and also experienced guys, and we can even see, I don't know, Lucas Vázquez, for instance, who was performing quite well until he got injured last season. So I think it will be a combination. Our team is a brand new team, and everything is still to come and to be decided by Ancelotti. So a combination, probably a lot of changes during the match, and yeah, we'll see. Honestly, we don't know much about this game. I think journalists here in Spain, they are on holidays as well, and but yeah, I think it will be a nice game for all of us.
Well, as I think a lot of the Rangers fans are looking forward to obviously the Real Madrid game, because obviously there's a bit of a mystique about Real Madrid. They're probably one of the, if not the most famous club in the world. So everybody's so excited over here. It's just we're just so glad we're getting some fans back, and I suppose we'll come on to that next. What do you think about the fans coming back, Scotty?
Delighted. I'm just gutted I can't get a ticket. Like I think I was just saying before we went on, that every man and his dog seems to have got an email about a ticket apart from me. I'm just wondering if that's because my postcode's a London postcode. I should change it to my granny so I get more of a chance. But yeah, I'm absolutely delighted. Even with the suspected 2,000, maybe slightly more fans that were in against Arsenal, they made one hell of a noise. And, you know, when we've got 8 to 10,000 on Saturday and 12,000 plus on Sunday, Ibrox is just going to be, even for that number, Ibrox is going to be rocking, because everyone is just, there's a buzz. I've never known a buzz around pre-season friendlies before. Yeah. I don't know about you. I think this feels like the first time, as you said, Cammy, since the 90s that we've actually had big names, big exciting European names as a pre-season. Usually we do like a trip to England or have some low-key games against lower English sides and get the momentum. But it seems like there's been a real shift in mentality. Hopefully it's going to be something regular instead of just something perhaps for the 150th anniversary year. But you know, in my lifetime, we've never played Brighton, and certainly in my lifetime we haven't played Real Madrid. And you know, it's just the opportunity to see Real Madrid at Ibrox. No disrespect to you, Rich and Brighton, but I'm absolutely gutted. I'm absolutely gutted that I won't be there. I mean,
yes,
you know, I love
football. Yeah, Scotty and I, we've been calling for a Rangers Brighton game for years because we played in a charity match together where Paul Barber, the Brighton CEO, was our manager. So ever since then, Scotty's been in his ear. Can we play Brighton? Can we play Brighton? And it is just typical. The one time it actually happens and we can't get there, we can't
exactly.
go. I think it's me, Scotty, because we tried to go to a Rangers game just pre-COVID. It was the one that was called off. For the Waterloo pit, Livy, like the one game in your whole history that's called off. So I think it's me. Like I'm destined not to go to Ibrox and see them play or something.
There's a question here for Diego from Curry Muncher. How does Diego view teams like Rangers? If they are to play them as a proper competitive game, do their fans still think it's a gimme, or do they take them seriously as a game that could cause problems?
Be nice, Diego.
So
I don't really get the question. Why are again?
Are Real going to be going into it super competitive, or are they going to be going into it sort of quite lackadaisical and take it easy?
No, we are going to be competitive. We see this game as an important game, and we are preparing our season. So we will take this game seriously. I think not winning in Ibrox would be bad news for us. So we will take it seriously.
Cool. Cammy, how are you feeling about it?
I think it's interesting talking about this pre-season. I think it's a good opportunity to build relationships. And I think that we've always had a historical with Arsenal. That was the whole thing behind playing them last weekend. I would love to get into a situation where every year they come up to us and vice versa, and Brighton. And I mean, Real Madrid is I've been lucky. I've seen Rangers play across Europe, been to Barcelona and various other places. The Bernabeu is the holy grail for me with regard to going to watch Rangers in the Champions League. I really hope that we are meeting in a pre-season friendly on Sunday. I hope that we are meeting in competitive Champions League football in October and November, because Real Madrid, it's just that is the aura, the white strip, I think it's the dream for me to go to the Bernabeu, and I think to see them at Ibrox on Sunday. Admittedly, it's only going to be a small crowd, but that small crowd will make one hell of a noise, and the demand for tickets for particularly the Real Madrid game, but the Brighton game, I think everybody's buzzing just to get back to Ibrox, and it would be great if pre-season friendlies had this same buzz every single year. But I think after 16 months of not being at football, we're all desperate just to see live football again. It is exciting, and I think I'm looking forward to two good games against two very good sides.
Yeah, Cammy, you got Diego nodding along there. So I think if Rangers get Real Madrid in the Champions League, I think we've got a place to stay.
Brilliant. But yeah, as I say, I think I think it's quite fitting that we're getting Real Madrid over for the part of the 150th celebrations. Do you think, Scotty?
Yeah, as I said, I mean, like growing up watching football, Real Madrid, like for me, the proper football clubs, and they're the ones that have been around at the top the longest. The likes of AC Milan, Inter Milan, Juventus, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid. I'd include us in that bracket to a certain extent. They're the teams that you grow up and you want your club to be like. They're the ones that you want to beat, and it doesn't really matter if they've had a change of fortune or whether they've had a bit of a downturn or going through a rocky period. It's still always going to be incredibly difficult matches and teams to beat. So the opportunity to play them even in a pre-season friendly and have that prestige is absolutely incredible, because let's be under no illusion here. Real Madrid are under absolutely zero obligation to come over to Scotland in the middle of COVID to play Rangers at Ibrox. So the fact that we've got them and it is our 150th year is something for me, certainly, I think, to celebrate. I mean, put it this way: they could go anywhere in the world and absolutely rake in an absolute fortune playing any team anywhere, and we've got the opportunity to play them on a Sunday, so absolutely relish it.
You could put it this way: the newspapers here were like Brighton get Madrid friendly, but we've got Getafe. So so yeah.
I think also, I feel sorry for Rich a wee bit, because we are obviously emphasising how everybody's buzzing to play Real Madrid on Sunday, but I think there's guys in that Brighton side that I watched the Premiership, the kid Lamptey at right back and Zuma in the middle of the park. I think just to see these guys live, and I think even last Saturday watching Arsenal, the younger players at Arsenal, it was good just to see them in the flesh and actually see what these guys are like in a live environment, because you don't see a lot of the off the ball running and how fit they are and how they get about the pitch and stuff. So I think the boy Lamptey was out injured at the end of last season. Is he likely to be available on Sunday?
Yeah, he's available. He was out for the last 6 months. So I promise, he's so fast and he's got issues with his hamstring. So they've taken a long time to get him back. So he'll play at least 45 minutes. Again, it's weird for me to say as a Brighton fan, but we've got a lot of players missing because of the Euros. Because obviously, growing up, we were bottom of League Two. So this is all new to me that we've got people in the England squad or the Polish squad. So it'll be a mixture for us. We'll start with a strong team, but we'll test out some youngsters. We've got Ostergaard, who's a young Norwegian boy. He was on loan at Coventry last year, and they've got high hopes for him that he could even come in and replace Ben White without us having to buy someone. That's how highly they think of him. He's part of the Norwegian golden generation that is coming through, along with Haaland and a couple of others. We've got a boy called Hayden who was on loan last season as well, who's rated quite highly. We've put a lot into our youth over the last few years, and again, it's strange when you go back 10 years. Our record transfer was like Craig McHale-Smith for 3 million, and now we're spending 3, 4, 5 million on under 23 players. So it's completely bizarre for me. One player we bought, Ian Hart, this is like going back to 30 years ago. We paid Stansted, I think it was, $5,000 and a set of kits, and now we're spending 20, 30 million on players and getting 50 million for Ben White, who's had one season in the Premier League. So we've come a lot so far that it's all just a bonus for us, really. But yeah, we'll have a mixture of the year. We've got some good young players. The ones to watch, Lamptey and Basuma, are the two that will stand out, though.
Rich, I've got to say, that's great what you just said, but what I'm trying to just decipher what Cammy actually means. Is Shane Duffy going to play?
Well, you've just stolen my thunder there. Hold on. Well, we've got a question before that. We've got Wolf coming in with a question for Diego. He's asking, if we get Real Madrid in the Champions League and we get through the qualifiers, how many tickets would Rangers get for the away game, Diego? Roughly.
Roughly. How many tickets? It depends, because now the Santiago Bernabeu is in works. So I don't know how many tickets we actually have for both teams. So I'm not really ready to answer to this question. I would say a few thousand tickets.
If it was in the actual Bernabeu, what would you be looking at? 10,000?
No, that's what you're saying. The Bernabeu is getting renovated.
Aye.
So
So
it's
when's
not
that
fully
getting
open.
finished?
It's been renovated. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Alan is coming in with a question for you, Richard. Please,
Yeah.
Richard, please tell us Shane Duffy's playing on Saturday.
He probably was. So it's funny because Shane Duffy, when we went up to the Premier League, I mean, we loved it. I mean, he was such a good player, but the system we played under Houghton with him and Dunkey, like, it suited us. We didn't play football. We just headed the ball away and lamped it up the pitch and defended our 6-yard box. And then one of the probably the biggest mistakes we've made over the last few years, which probably was Chris Houghton's call, is that he didn't rate Connor Goldson because of the style that we played. And he would have, if we had Connor under Potter, he would have walked into our team. And we wouldn't have to have spent 25 million on Webster because we had Connor Goldson. It's like, you've got a ball playing centre midfielder. Let's ship him off for 3 million when he's worth, Ben White's worth 50, Connor's worth 75 in my opinion. But so we're short at the back because Ben White's not there. So I think he probably will get some minutes. Unfortunately, we loaned him out to Celtic. So hopefully, watch him play well, play every minute, and then his value would go up. In the end, we probably can't give him away for free because he's on quite a bit of money each week.
There's a comment here saying that you've got a good manager at Brighton, Graham Potter.
Yeah, he's very good. I know people who don't watch us may just look at the results and you lose 1-0 and you think it's down to the manager, but the way that we play the systems, people like Pep Guardiola don't say he's the best manager, the best English manager, unless they rate him. But you can just see the way we play. If we had better players, we would be right up there. I think our expected goals, we were 6th or 7th for expected goals in the league. And we dominate games against some of the bigger teams. So he's a very good manager. And if he was foreign or had a different name, I'm sure he would have got something like the Spurs job. One good year with us, and then he'll get the boot. I think finishing 16th in the league, it stops you then progressing because the fans wouldn't have accepted him at Spurs. But I would say Potter's a better manager than Nuno. For sure, and he promotes the youth. Under Houghton, we never had any youth come through, and he's improved players. People like Alzate come through the youth. He was on loan at Leyton Orient when Potter came in. He brought him back, and now he starts quite a lot of the games. He just gets the most out of all the players that we have.
So when you see the teams lining up, Rangers usually play 4-3-3, and Brighton play 4-1-1 or something, is it? Or
it varies. Sometimes it's three.
How do you think the sort of formations will match up?
Yeah, again, I think we'll go ideally with Lamptey. Lamptey can't play as a right back; he has to play right wing back. So I think we'll play the 3 at the back with the wing backs, and then recently we've been playing 2 up top with a couple in midfield. Alana maybe floating around, or McAllister. He's at the Olympics with Argentina. So I think you'll probably try and it'll be a battle of the wings because you'll have if like Tav's playing with your width overlapping. If your fullbacks get forward, it's which fullbacks would drive each other back the most. To be honest, but I think it'll be a tight game between us. I've watched Rangers a lot towards the end of last season. Scotty would kill me if I wasn't watching. We'd watch quite a few together actually. So I know you've got some great players, and if on your day, I know some people in the Premier League or the English football would say if Rangers and Celtic came into the Premier League, they wouldn't do very well. Having watched Rangers last year, that they would do very well. Probably not Celtic on last year's form, but I think it'll be an even matchup. But it just depends if we can put the ball in the goal.
Diego, there's another comment here asking or saying from Michael. He was saying he was at Ibrox in '63 for the game against Real. His dad got him a ticket and his mate 10 bob each. I have no idea how much that's worth now. For his birthday, Puskás kicked the ball once and he hit the net 1-0. Take it you don't remember that, Diego.
I don't remember, but I did my homework, my pre-work, and I read about that. Yeah, Puskás made it. Yeah.
What a player!
Brilliant. Yeah. So how do you see the formation going with Real Madrid against Rangers with the players that you've got?
Well, we might be missing some of our best players, but still, I think we have enough as to have a competitive game against you. I think we will play 4-4-2, something like this. We will have one of our main organizers who will be distributing the ball will be Isco, I think. Last season was not his best season. He had some injuries as well. But along with Ancelotti, we've got a new fitness coach who is trying to put all our players back into shape. And I think he's already doing a great job with some players such as Marcelo, Isco, for instance. And I think we'll see again the best version of these players. I'm especially looking forward to see our Isco. These kind of players like, I don't know, Modric, real players that create good, they know what to do with the ball. They know how to create. They are almost artists. So yeah, I think.
Diego, what do you think? What do you think of Ancelotti? Because he's now coming back to his second spell in charge of Real Madrid. Did you like him first time? And are you pleased he's back?
Yeah, I'm pleased he's back. I like it in the first time, and I think he's a different kind of coach. If we compare it with Sisu, with Zidane, I think I like him better in the way he interprets the games and how he reacts, how the changes he's able to do. I think he's better than Zidane in this sense. In any case, being Real Madrid coach is really challenging. There is no room for mistakes. Mass media, journalists, they are always looking at him very closely. We know what is football, but Real Madrid is even in this case is even more important. This what happened to everyone.
Yeah.
And
are Real do Real have any money to spend to bring in players? Are they expecting to do that, or what's the situation? Because obviously they wanted to join the Super League so they could get lots and lots of money, but now that isn't looking like happening. We all know the problems with Barcelona. What are Real Madrid looking like?
I think I'm not an expert, but I think financially we are doing a bit better than Barcelona. Maybe we are not paying this amount of money to players such as Messi. I think Florentino has a better idea on how to manage the financial things. But yeah, I think we need to sell few players. In any case, we have 6 extra community players. We've got Gareth Bale back in our team. We've got Vinicius, and I think we will be selling during this summer some of these players. I'm expecting perhaps to have Mbappe. That would be awesome. By the way, yeah, I'm a dreamer maybe, but yeah. By the way, yesterday Alaba was introduced, was presented to our community as a new player in Real Madrid. But I think this first season for Ancelotti will be like a transition season, and well, maybe we won't be the best team in Europe next season, but I think this is more like a
project,
long-term project, mid-term. Let's say mid-term. Otherwise, we're going to get bored in the.
The hankies will be getting flying, won't they?
Do you know?
Yeah,
I tell you
exactly.
what, this highlights a completely different world. So, on one, imagine we've got 3 hands for a second here. On one hand, we've got Diego, who's shopping in the market for Mbappe. We've got Rich, who's supporting Brighton. He's just got 50 million quid. And then we've got us who our mouths are watering at the prospect of spending 7 million quid on a Dutch kid. It's just absolutely poles apart, isn't it? It's fantastic.
Yeah. But we'd swap it all for your league titles, I'll tell you that much.
But I'd like to say something, if you allow me to. In Madrid, we are perhaps too used to win. And sometimes we lose the inspiration. For me, an example of inspiration is what Rangers did last season. That was incredible. And if we read what you did for the previous season, again, this is really inspiring. In Madrid, I mean, okay, if we don't win the Champions League, then we did a bad season. So it depends where you are. You always want to get more. So yeah. But I understand your point, Scott. Yeah, it is a bit unfair maybe to be talking about Mbappe. It's not the same conversation, maybe.
It's fine. Good, kind words, Diego. Very kind words.
Scott. There's a question for you.
Oh,
which part of London are you from, and how did you end up supporting Rangers?
Oh, I'm a nomad. Started in Manchester, came down to Birmingham, then ended up in Brighton, then up to London. My dad and my family, Rangers. I think everyone who's a Rangers supporter knows that once you've got a bit of blood in you, there's only one team. There's only ever going to be one team. So that's why I'm a Rangers fan. I'm a season ticket holder, fully fledged. Had the dream since I was a boy. So yeah.
So we'll move on if you guys don't mind. Cammy's, we don't see his forehead.
We're going to join Cammy. What's going on there?
Yeah. Actually, one last question for you guys with Diego saying, they're used to winning everything else. So obviously Rangers for many years, you were just used to winning everything. But when you went down the leagues and then came back, didn't those League Two, those League One titles mean just as much to you? Because for Brighton, our promotions for those seasons, they mean everything. And even for us being in the Premier League 15th, 16th, 17th, if we got relegated, it's like, who cares? Let's go win the championship and have a great season.
Do you know what? It's actually a real shame that Cammy's like having problems, because he is probably one of the best people at articulating the response, as is some of the other guys that do the pod.
Here he goes.
Like what it was, and hopefully Cammy gets his Wi-Fi sorted so he can.
Did you hear that question, Cammy?
I think give him a minute and see if he can get consistency.
I just keep getting kicked out, and it's freezing. It's like it's driving me nuts. Here.
It's driving us nuts. It's going to give me epilepsy in a minute.
Richard's got a question for you.
Yeah, we were just saying, because we were talking about like the success levels of Rangers, like Diego was saying, like Mbappe and everything else that they're going after. And me, our League Two, League One titles meant just as much to us. So for you being the Rangers, when you're used to being at that top level, when you went down the leagues, did those League Two, League One titles mean just as much as, maybe not the 55, but the ones, all the others, just because you're still winning the league?
I wouldn't say it meant as much as 55, obviously, but I think very much the journey back and what Rangers actually brought to the lower leagues within Scottish football, and I think we played a lot, put a lot of income into those clubs. But I wouldn't say we had an unbeaten run within one of those seasons, and we've just had an unbeaten run within the 55 season. I know which one was more memorable, certainly. I think it was 2013, 2014, but I think Rangers winning a trophy is what it's all about. For my whole lifetime, I've been very lucky to see Rangers win a lot of trophies over the course of the years. So the sort of banter years, as we called it, were a challenge, but hopefully we're now it's an upward. We're now in an upward trajectory under Gerrard.
A question here for Richard and Diego, actually. This is maybe a little unfair to ask, but I will anyway. Is there any players that you would like or you are impressed with that would fit into your team?
These Rangers players that would fit into our team?
Yes. For both you and Diego.
Yeah, I would take I'll take Connor Golson back in a heartbeat. I always rated him. Tav, like Lamptey injuries, we wanted to play a right back. Tav for sure. And I know we've been linked with Kamara a few times. Like if Basuma went, it wouldn't have been a bad replacement for Basuma. I've probably been trained or indoctrinated by Scotty to know that all of your players are just the best players in the world. But having watched them, they are just excellent. They are excellent. So I would say Kamara and Tav and Connor. Well, and Morelos. We need a striker, Morelos, definitely.
It's
Diego's
funny,
no.
Rich, you say about 75 million for Connor Golson. Scotty laughs. I'm not ready for Connor
Number one
Golson
fan.
I'm not ready for Connor Golson to leave, and he's going into the last year of his contract. But if you were to offer 75 million for him, I would probably take that, to be fair.
Oh, begrudgingly.
Yeah. I'm amazed we didn't do a buyback on him. I can understand why we let him go, because he wanted first team football. He had his heart problems. He wasn't going to start for us. So I can understand why we let him go, but not to either loan him out or have a buyback for like 10, 12 million was bad business from our part.
Do you think he's a player, although you're talking about a buyback, do you think it's realistic that you do buy him back, or you do get him next summer on a pre-contract?
I haven't seen us rumored or heard anything that we would be interested. With Ben White going, we're in the market for a centre back, but I think we'd probably look at it as he's gone and we'll look elsewhere. I don't think we would get him back.
What's Willie doing?
Evening, William.
Brian, kick him out.
I just thought we'd show that. Here's Diego back. So Diego, have you any players that you think
Diego's just been away doing his research on Rangers players?
No, believe me, I missed part of the question. Can you please ask me again? Because I think I missed this. I lost the signal. Yeah.
Is there any players from Rangers that you think would suit Real Madrid?
I haven't done my pre-work, so no. I'm sure you've got great players, and yeah, but I am not able to let you know any of them, really. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, they're buying Mbappe, so I mean,
Morelos, Mbappe. Well,
right. We'll go on to a little bit of transfer talk that I spotted on Twitter. Usual truth or nonsense. You can take it as much as you want, but I seen Cahill was muttered with us. I mean, what do you take of that? A pinch of salt, or was that just the usual jungle drums?
It's newspaper silly season. He's out of contract as it stands at Crystal Palace. He's 35, 36 years old. There's absolutely no chance Rangers are signing Gary Cahill.
Do you agree with that, Scott?
I think we all know that Rangers run a really, really tight ship, particularly in terms of noise and rumours coming out. In fact, Rich probably knows more rumours than the majority of Scottish tabloids when it comes to Rangers. So, yeah, just consign that one to the rubbish bin, I would say. Definitely.
That's the end of that. Thank you. And
send a text, see if it's true.
Obviously, the B team played last night. What did you think of that result, Cammy?
I think, to be honest with you, I think the B team have started fantastically well. I think 2 wins, not conceded any goals, couldn't ask for any more. I'm going along to see the B team play locally on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, it's great. It's those kids that are 17, 18, 19 that they don't get enough competitive football in a men's environment. I think it's a problem down south as well. I think the under 23 development league down south, and it's pretty soft, and I think, to be honest with you, it's just kids playing against people their own age. I think obviously in Spain you've got Real Madrid, Barcelona have got the B teams, and I think it's worked well over a period of years. So I think this Scottish football was very parochial, and I think this opportunity
is that a posh way of saying backward?
Well, it was something like that. They don't like any sort of innovation and any forward thinking. It's just a case of Rangers or Celtic suggest something, it's automatically bad. And Rangers put an innovation paper forward, and I think there's other clubs. Hibs have got an arrangement with another club, and I think there's other clubs that are trying to do.
With us.
So they're trying to do things to help develop their young players. So I think Rangers playing in the Lowland League this season as a full-time setup. I think a lot of these teams are going to be part-time. I think we should do very well. I think when it gets into the winter months, I'll be very surprised if we're not at the top of the Lowland League at the end of the season. But it's about developing these guys, and they're coming up against players that have been round the block and they know all the tricks of the trade. I mean, Scotty, Leon King. Leon King's 17 years old, and I think a huge prospect for Rangers and for Scotland in the next 10, 15 years. He's going to be playing certainly over the next few months in the Lowland League, and I think he'll probably learn as much in that as he is training with the first team every day, and it's going to make him a better option for Gerrard moving forward. But I'm fully behind. Fully behind the idea of the Lowland League.
Diego, how does the system in Spain work with Real Madrid B? Does it work for you guys? Like, do you get a lot of youth from them?
I don't get the question. Sorry, Brian.
You guys have got the B team in the lower league in Spain. Do you get a lot of talent from that?
Sorry, I don't get the question.
He speaks English. He doesn't speak Scottish.
I'll let you go then.
No, there you go. So you've got Real Madrid B, and Real Madrid C. Do you see many players from the kind of divisional setup come through and play for the first team? How does that benefit the club?
Very few players actually finally end in the first team. In most of the cases, they have the chance to play for a while, then at the end they are sold. But Real Madrid structure is really, really strong. We've got, Real Madrid is winning most of the leagues, all across all categories. But then you don't feel that much the impact of this if you are watching football. Maybe, from a financial point of view, we are getting some money for those players. In any case, we always have legends that came from these categories. We have Iker Casillas, we have Raúl, and few more. But if you think now in our team, the team that we have at the moment, you don't see so many players.
Yeah, it's interesting with us as well, because we have our under-23 setup and spend millions on under-23 players now, but I can't think of one that's come through that system. The ones that have come through, Ben White went to Newport, Peterborough and Leeds. Ostergaard went out to Coventry. We had the winger Girakis, who went off to Coventry. They all go to the lower league football to gain experience, to have real football experience that they're not getting in those games. Even Sanchez, our goalie, who's in the Spain squad, he was in Rochdale a year or two ago, and now he's in the Spain squad for the Euros. So and I think there was talk down here, some of the clubs trying to bring back the old reserve system rather than the under-23s, just so they're playing against seasoned pros week in, week out, rather than these friendly games against kids that they're not learning anything from.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting because Cammy alluded to, and this is almost the pig ignorance for me of Scottish football and the backward thinking. Whereas Hibernian would rather have a partnership with Brighton and take Brighton's younger players than actually try and do something and develop their own. And people are really, really short-sighted in terms of what Rangers and Celtic are trying to do in creating a B team, because everyone thinks, oh, right, it's just the greedy old firm doing their thing, creating players for themselves, and the only people who are going to benefit are the old firm. And it's a really short-sighted, because if you take Diego's Real Madrid example, not many players actually come through that Real Madrid system and play for Real Madrid. So you get the occasional couple, and they tend to be like heroes, whether that's Raul, Casillas, Guti, or whoever. But what happens to those players? They end up going through the Spanish football leagues, and they still end up at top clubs, and it ends up benefiting other teams in the league. And for me, one of the best examples of that is probably Alvaro Negredo, because he started off at Real Madrid B, and then he went to, was it Almeria? And he scored a shed load of goals at Almeria. Real Madrid brought him back, didn't fit in Real Madrid, and then he ended up playing, Man City? But Spain, scoring a load of goals. So it's a really short-sighted point of view to go, oh, this is only to benefit Rangers. It's not. It's actually to benefit Scottish football. But because you've just got some backward folk, Scottish football's never really going to move forward until it gets its head out its arse. But
here's one, Diego. Is there much interest from the Real fans in the B team?
Yeah. We don't look at them separately. We think on the club, and we are always keeping an eye on what our B team is doing, even our C team, what they are doing. And I think the club always tries to put someone famous as coach. For instance, we've got Raúl González Blanco as coach of the second team, and I think this is something that they do to keep the people engaged also with the B team. So people keep some interest in the B team.
How many people will go to the stadium and watch the B team? Will there be maybe a couple of thousand? Does it depend who they're playing, or if
I would say a couple of thousand, 3,000, I don't know. Yeah,
that's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Not that many.
Oh, that's plenty for a second team. That's a lot. Yeah.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
There's Curry Muncher become a YouTube member, so get yourselves joining if you can. $1.99, good content. Members content coming up soon. Sorry, I'll just stick that in. Probably Brighton. I know. Brighton, how do they look at? Do they watch the reserves quite a lot?
No, not too much. I mean, it's usually the under-23s. They're at the training ground. They very rarely play at the Amex, I don't think. So we don't get too many crowds to the under-23s. Like we said, just the whole system of it. You're not seeing anyone that most of you know. So it's not really worth it. So when we get like the League Cup, we'll play the under-23s mainly, and we'll get 5,000-6,000 mainly after their loyalty points for the away games, to paying their £10 for that. But no, we don't get too many to the under-23s, just because it's a load of kids that haven't made it. And in my personal opinion, if you're 21, 22 and not pushing on to the first team, you're not going to be good enough to be at that level. Most of our better youngsters are loaned out anyway.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Right. We'll have a quick discussion about the old ticket office. I mean, it's not been a great week or so for it, is it, Cammy?
That's possibly an understatement. I think we're in a position where we have thousands of fans desperate to get back to the stadium. We have the low attendances for these matches. Demand outweighs the supply, which is all fair. I just think the communication and the ticket office operation has been a bit of a shambles, to be honest with you, this week. And I feel sorry for those that have been caught in the middle of it. We have our supporters liaison officer who is meant to field all inquiries when he doesn't know the answers to everything, and it's problems that have been caused by another area of the club. So it is very frustrating. But to focus on the positive, 2,000 fans in the stadium last Saturday. As it stands, 8,000 against Brighton on Saturday, just under 13,000 against Real Madrid, and then as it stands, 17,000 for the opening day of the season next Saturday. So as much as the ticket office is a frustration, I think the main positive is we are getting more fans back in the stadium. We've watched the Euros and we've watched particularly the test events, if that's what you want to call them, at Wembley, as the gradual crowd increase. And I think we all watched it and thought, God, I wish that was us going back. And we've obviously, during August, we hope that continues, and the quicker we are all back in the stadium and we just use our season card to get into the stadium, and we can stop talking about the ticket office and stop having to do anything, just get back to the routine of going to the game, having a few beers before it, go to the game, a few beers after it, and go home. And your team wins, your team loses, your team draws, whatever it is. I just want us to get back into that normal situation where that's all we're talking about.
Well, to be fair to the guys at the gate on Saturday, as I said to you, I didn't have a QR code, and the guys in the gate were great. Put me in touch with the ticket office, went along, printed off my QR code, and that was it. So it was fine for me, but I mean, I can't obviously speak for everybody. But
Listen, it is what it is. But I think we're getting fans back in the stadium, maybe not as quickly as we would like it to be, and a bit of inconsistency with regard to how they're picking those numbers out of a hat, how many fans are getting into stadiums across the same city by the same safety advisory group. But that's we're not going down the political route, and we're not having that conversation. But Rangers fans are back watching their team, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. Scotty, anything to add to that?
Nope.
Thank you very much. On Saturday, we're going to have a match reaction, and obviously Sunday we'll have a match reaction after the Real Madrid game. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'd just like to say thanks to Diego and Richard for their insights with Brighton and Real Madrid.
Hold on. I want score predictions.
Oh, okay, right. Right, Richard, you go first.
Well, I can never predict against my boys. I think it'll be quite high scoring, even though we never score a goal. I'm going to go 3-2 the Albion.
Diego?
1-2 for Real Madrid.
Sake.
Right, Scotty, come on then. Your two predictions.
I fancy, just because I've said that, an aggregate of a 6-0 win for Rangers. So 3-0, 3-0, 4-0, 2-0. Take your pick.
Cammy?
I think Rangers will win by a couple of goals on Saturday against Brighton. Sunday, I think maybe slightly harder against Real Madrid, but I cannot ever bet against my team, so I'm going for a 1 each on Sunday against Real Madrid and maybe a 3-1 win against Brighton on Saturday.
Very diplomatic. Well, thanks guys for making me feel comfy in my debut, for hosting it. So thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you. The Rab will be back on Saturday with the match reaction on Saturday and Sunday. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.